Thank you very much. Mr. Norcross, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So it's great to have you here today. I'd like to talk a little bit about where we've been and where we are going. I proudly talk about I went from steel tips to wing tips, having gone to that other four-year school, which is called an apprenticeship. The one that I went to was part of the system that is the most successful job training program in the history of the United States. It's called a Registered Apprenticeship Program. I'm sure you're well aware of that. It taught me those necessary skills not only to be a successful electrician, but it also created an opportunity for a great career and the ability to feed my family, to take care of them. The construction industry is a great example of the most successful program, which takes little, if any, money for that training program. They take care of themselves. So I heard a lot about the industry-recognized apprenticeships. There is nothing that prevents any company from creating their own apprenticeship program, is it? They're allowed at any moment to create it. There is no stopping it. You can do it yourself, unless you want the government to pay you to do it. And that's the big difference, is we want your money, but we don't want any kind of regulations on it. Even though registered apprenticeship programs have been seen and have been the experience of the most successful program. I believe that if private industry wants to create it, they can go do it. But if you want the government to pay you to do it, there are certain conditions, which are something called checks and balances and oversight. So somebody that's been involved with that, not only in California, but when you were approved by the Senate for the seat that you used to as deputy, which you were approved by the Senate, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about the registered programs. You asked for $335 million for these programs. Why are they successful, and what are you going to do with that money if it is approved?
Thank you very much, Congressman. I think they are successful because they are built in partnership. As you mentioned, many of them are in construction, electricians, right? We are facing a growth in the need for electricians for lots of the investments that are being made right now. And having programs that are tried and true, that are based in skills that are really needed for the job, and have the ability to recruit participants so that we can meet the actual in-demand needs that employers have is baked into how apprenticeship programs work. And that's why they're so successful, because they are built from in-demand jobs. They are built on skills that are really needed. There's the guarantee of a job at the end of a training program. And so, that's why we spent so much time talking about it here, and why the Department of Labor is so invested in helping to expand them to meet the needs that we do here, that employers have and that workers have for good jobs and good workers.
So the idea of a registered program, and let's, for example, an electrician, the electrons in New Jersey work the same thing they do in California. And registered programs create standards. And why is that so important? When storms hit Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and they rip down all the power poles, there's something called storm break, where line persons from all over the country come together to put it back together. The idea of having separate programs not only leads to problems in the construction, well, the highest incidence of death on the job years ago before the programs were brought together. This is something that we as a country do each and every day. So the register side of that program is absolutely imperative. And to do so otherwise would be risking people's lives. But the idea of a program by an employer for a unique and new program that they might be doing, I don't think I've heard that that's a bad idea. In fact, they're approved at a very high rate. Can you just talk about what it takes to get a registered program? We hear how hard it is, but quite frankly, when I talk to the employers, it's not a big deal.
I'm so happy to hear that, Congressman, because one of the things that we've been very focused on is working with employers to meet their needs, to make sure that we are not only continuing to scale apprenticeship programs that we know already work, but to help build new ones for employers who are interested in doing so, and to cut the amount of time and the red tape that it takes to do that.
Yeah, because the electric car wasn't around back when I started my apprenticeship, and the idea of what it's going to take to assemble the new batteries with new chemicals is something that everybody is open to. Listen, the way we're going to do this is working together with employers, and they are an equal part of what we call employment. And we need to be ready as a country, and we appreciate what you're doing for the next generation of the workforce and for the most
Thank you,
successful
Mr.
program
Norcross. Thank you, Mr.
in the
Norcross.
history of the
You're
United
over
States.
time,
And I yield back
Mr.
my time
Norcross.
to Madam Chairwoman.
You're way over time.